Hey girl, and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, then my name is Shay, and in today's video I'm going to be helping you create your 2024 prayer board. Let's get into it. Okay, so if you're new here, then again, my name is Shay, and if you love all things faith, motherhood, lifestyle, goal setting, you're definitely in the right place. So go ahead and hit that subscribe button and join the family. Okay, so as I stated in the intro, we're going to be discussing how to create a 2024 prayer board. As you can see, I already have mine posted up behind me, but we will be going through it together. I'm going to be showing you all everything that I use, how I decided to lay what on my prayer board, or what helped me in that decision-making process to decide what to place on my prayer board and all of that. So let's go ahead and hop into it. Okay, so last year for 2023, I decided to do a prayer board instead of a vision board, and I love that so much more. It really helped me to be intentional about partnering with God when it came to like my goals and everything that he was doing in my life, instead of creating, like, I feel like a vision board is more so just your own personal desires, what your plan is for your life, and you can run into a lot of roadblocks, a lot of hiccups, a lot of circles, trials, and things that you may not have to go through when you decide to be led into, okay, God, what is your will for my life? What are your desires? Where do you need me to be in this season? So that is how I made the transition into a prayer board. But it helped me to remain consistent and remain intentional about being in his presence, asking him for guidance, and making sure that everything I was doing was because I felt led to do it, or because I felt that it was his desire for my life. So the first thing that you will need to do, or how I start with my prayer board, is just always making sure that I take the time to pray. I like to think about it, make sure I include it in prayer leading up to whenever I plan to do my prayer board. So if I know I'm gonna do my prayer board on the 1st of next month, I might spend this month just reflecting, praying, asking God for his guidance on what I need to place on my prayer board, what needs to be taken away from my prayer board, so that whenever I go into it, I know the things that I'm putting on there is things that I'm being led to put on there. I can put those things on there with confidence and know that I'm putting it on there not because it's just some desire of my own. Sometimes it's just prayer. If I'm having a hard time receiving like direction or clarity on what I need to be placing on my prayer board, then I will go into a fast to just make sure that I'm able to go into it with a clear mind, make sure that I'm not being distracted, make sure I'm not letting my flesh take over at all. But once I have an idea of the things that I feel led to place on my prayer board for 2024, then what I did was went ahead and jot everything down that I am expecting for 2024. Okay, so once you have those things written down, you've prayed, you fasted, you've done all of those good things, then you need your materials. So for my prayer board, what I used was a cork board. I think I purchased that from Target, but I'm sure you can find all this stuff on Amazon or even at Walmart. I used a cork board. I needed the pins to go in the board. I have sticky notes, note cards, and then as we dive into my actual board and I begin to show you all what's on there, you will see that I have some printed papers on there as well, and we will discuss those in a minute. The next thing that I did was go to scripture. So whenever I first do my prayer board, I do not try to fill up my prayer board. I literally just go on there with the things that I am expecting for that year. I write prayers for those things and I place them on the board. And then if I have any scripture that is just coming to mind for those prayers, I write those scriptures on sticky notes and I place them on the board as well. Now I leave space on my board because throughout the year I continue to add scripture, I continue to add prayer. Whenever those prayers have been answered, I go back and I put another prayer just to, you know, so that you can see that it's happening, so that you can see that your prayers have been answered, and so that your prayer board can like grow with you throughout the year. So I don't glue anything on my board. Only materials that I use to keep stuff up are pens and tape, so that I can take things away and I can add things to it. Okay, so as you can see here, I have these note cards. So these note cards was actually purchased from Hobby Lobby. And what I did was I wrote prayers inside of these note cards. These prayers are for a specific thing. So each note card has a specific prayer in it for a specific thing. I often add prayers to my prayer board. That can be for a friend, it can be for my family in general, it can be for whatever God has placed on my heart. I make sure that I take the time to write up a prayer for that. So in these note cards are prayers for things that I felt led to pray for and expect in 2024. Okay, so going across the bottom right here, you see that I have note cards with scripture on them, with the scripture broken down a little bit. These are just scriptures that has really stuck out to me whenever I was doing my Bible study. But whenever I was doing my Bible study, then something particular from my prayer board came to mind. So I added these to my prayer board with my takeaways from them. So this is like what I mean when I say I don't fill my prayer board up when I first do it, because I like to add things to it throughout the year. Okay, so from top to bottom on this side, you will see that I have things that I have printed off to add to my prayer board. So this one is a scripture that I also have in my prayer journal, and I always like to see it as a constant reminder that I should be praying instead of worrying. Below that is a journal entry that I wrote a few years ago. This is a journal entry I wrote when God was trying to get me to leave my job and step out on faith, and I was terrified. I was questioning him. I was really wrestling at that moment. So this is a journal entry that I wrote down. I printed it out because, y'all, the testimony from this is just mind-blowing. So I printed this out to put up on my prayer board, so that this is a constant reminder. This is encouragement and motivation for me, for one, to trust myself when I know that I am hearing from God, and for two, to know that the same God that provided for me then is providing for me now. Okay, beside that, you will see that I have a bingo card. This is my first time doing a bingo card. These are things that I still feel led to put on there, things that I was asking God for, things that I felt like he was calling me to do. So I put it on my bingo card just to try to motivate and encourage myself to try to knock these things out. And then all around here, you will see it's just scripture that I have added over time to my prayer board. My prayer board is something that is changing with me. It's literally changing as God changes me. So if he ever say take it off, that's not where we're at anymore. I take it off. If he say add it, I add it. I love having a prayer board because I am a visual girly when it comes to getting things done, when it comes to being motivated and encouraged. I need to see things. So this is why, for one, I have my prayer board right here behind me so that I can see it anytime I'm going inside my bathroom, out my bathroom, waking up, getting in bed, getting out of bed. It is right there. So how do I use my prayer board once it's up? Let's get into that. So once my prayer board has been completed and it is up, again, I make sure that it stays somewhere visible, because I am a visible girly. So anytime, like, I can be watching TV and then God be like, go to the prayer board, and I get up and I go to my prayer board. Or anytime that I'm feeling like overwhelmed, anytime when I'm feeling like, oh, I'm tired, I really can't do this, or I don't feel like doing this, or I hope I'm doing the right thing, is this working? Like anytime anything type of emotion like that is just trying to creep in, I go to my prayer board, I stand in front of it, I lay my hands on it, and I pray. If I need strength, I'm asking for strength. If I need wisdom, I'm asking for wisdom. This is a game changer. If you are trying to make sure that you are intentionally partnering with God to do whatever he has called you to do, then putting up a prayer board, having a prayer board is definitely going to do that for you. Because y'all, when I tell you, it really just helps me to remember that I'm not doing this on my strength. I'm not doing this on my wisdom, my knowledge. I'm not doing this for me. I'm doing this because God has called me to do it. Anything that he's bringing me to, I can get through. Anything that he has called me to, I'm qualified for it. This is a constant reminder of that. Anything he said that he was going to do, he's gonna do it. This is a constant reminder of that. It is just constantly leading me back to lay my burdens down at his feet, constantly bringing me back to give him that thanks, express my gratitude, constantly bringing me back to just put myself in the present, so that I never begin to think that I'm in charge of this, and make sure that I'm never getting to the place where I'm getting too comfortable thinking that I got the answers, I can do it on my own, or that this is my show, or that I'm doing this for me. I'm doing this because God has called me to do it. I'm doing this because someone is going to be changed. Someone is going to be brought closer to God because of my yes to do whatever he told me to do. So if you have been thinking about doing a prayer board, I highly encourage you to do so, especially if you feel like you have been praying for things, and God is just leading you somewhere else, or you just constantly hitting roadblocks. Maybe it's because you're trying to do it on your own strength. Maybe it's because you're going out trying to do something, and then when it doesn't work, you're trying to come back and then pray for God's help, when you're supposed to start with prayer and allow him to lead you, reveal those steps for you. So if you have any questions about my prayer board, drop them down below. As always, if you have any videos that you would like to see from me, make sure you drop those down below as well. And I'll see you all in the next one. If you enjoyed this video, hit that like button, share it to help someone else. And yeah, that's it. Bye, girl.